All right, hey, all you not normals, we've got another great episode today. We got Walker Richardson, Ben Richardson, founder of Not Normal. We have a great episode. We were discussing, I live in Puerto Rico. Walker lived here for several years, and what are the advantages of here, and why are so many interesting, high-value people moving to Puerto Rico? What's going on?
Yeah, break down why.
People don't move for no reason. So, yeah, what's going on? And maybe it'd be good. We just talk about some of the advantages of pluses and pluses mostly today of living in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. One of the first things that got our attention was that Puerto Rico has this interesting tax arrangement for United States citizens. And as an American, you really don't have that many options for changing how you're taxed as an American. Like you can't move abroad and have all your income just not taxed. There are lots of things you can do inside the US tax code, but you are never outside of it. And that's unique. Not all countries do that. A lot of countries don't do that. So Americans are always looking for ways to be creative, how to minimize their tax liability. And Puerto Rico has an interesting option. So yeah, we looked at it and we thought that'd be really cool and be a Spanish-speaking adventure in the Caribbean. Let's go for it. So we could talk about some of the incentives that are here and what that looks like. And then we talk about a little bit of taxes and see where it goes. Sound good?
Let's get into it.
Yeah. So taxes are assessed on your income. Your income can be defined lots of different ways inside of the IRS system. Generally, it's the money that you make. If you have a salary and you're a worker and you have a double W-2 salary, that would be your wage that your boss pays you. And if you're a business owner, then you're assessed on the money that the business makes and the money that you make, depending on, again, there's lots of technicalities, so we'll try to keep it really simple, but generally the money you make from your business. Okay, not what someone's paying you. So kind of two different scenarios we'll look at today. And Puerto Rico had some challenges economically, had some hurricanes, and they created some incentives to try to get people to move to Puerto Rico, and people who can generate value in businesses and activity and bring some knowledge and capital. And that is generally called Act 60 now. It started as two different incentives, Act 20 and 22. They're generally the same. They've been modified a little bit, and they are under the umbrella of Act 60 now.
Okay.
So if you moved to Puerto Rico and you're applied for the tax incentives under Act 60, there's a couple that are really interesting. Most people kind of fall into one of these two categories or both. There's others, but generally these are the two that people are pursuing. The first one is a capital gains incentive. So if you create a business in Puerto Rico and you become a resident of Puerto Rico and meet some of the other requirements, and you export your services from Puerto Rico to anywhere else, then you can qualify under this tax incentive. And the export service business gives you a period of time, if you qualify and you're granted that you can receive only 4% corporate tax and takes those withdrawals out of that business as distributions, then there's no tax. So that's really
pretty miraculous.
Like standard corporate rates can be like 20% corporate taxes and stuff like that. So that's one. And the other one is capital gains. And normally, if you buy and sell something like a stock or a crypto, the gain that you make on your capital is a capital gain, and that's what you're taxed on. And there's two types of capital gains. One is your short-term capital gains, anything that's bought and sold in less than a year, and long-term capital gains, anything bought and sold over a year. And if it's short-term capital gains, then it's assessed at your personal tax bracket. Okay, we'll get into some of these things in a minute, but if you're taxed at a higher rate, like 35%, then your short-term capital gains are going to be at that.
That's brutal.
Yeah. And if you hold it longer than a year, then it's going to be, somewhere like 20%.
Okay.
So it's a big advantage to hold it longer than a year. But if you're a resident of Puerto Rico and you have a Act 60 tax grant for a period of time, 10 years or so, you can have 0% on your capital gain.
Short and long?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a big deal, especially if you're someone like a crypto trader or a day trader. You're moving money, buying and selling all the time. Just compound that without having to factor in that loss every time.
That's so
wild. So those are the two. Any questions on that? We can kind of get into some more stuff, but
not yet. What are maybe some of the most popular business models that would benefit from these tax grants?
Okay. If you're exporting your service from here to somewhere like the States, popular business models could be business coach or a business consultant. You can provide management services from here for real estate in the United States, provide sales and marketing, training, or support from here.
Okay.
Anything that you can do from here to support business somewhere else.
Gotcha.
And you charge for your services.
Gotcha.
Huh?
And also
on the capital gains side, let's just say you're buying and selling a company with your shares. That's just like
Hmm.
trading stocks, right? You're actually buying and selling shares. So with the
Yeah.
company shares, then you sell those shares, you're going to have a capital gains.
So I guess the sale on your company is recorded as a capital gains.
Right. So if you were strategic about it and you thought a sale might be coming up, you might want to become resident of Puerto Rico, especially if it's
Hmm.
what if it's 10 million or $100 million company or a sale. Then on that capital gains, you can, in theory, have no taxes on those capital gains.
Oh, it's so crazy.
So you see some people move here, they're business owners, big ones
Hmm.
that you know of, and
Yeah.
they have the transaction and they're here for the required amount of time. And then
Yeah.
some of them stay, some of them move on, but pretty cool.
Super cool.
Yeah. So as an American, why are they moving to Puerto Rico? Because there are some, it's beautiful, it's amazing.
Mhm.
The type of people that do move here to pursue this are really interesting folks, and that's been the by far the biggest benefit to me, and I think for you and
Yeah, I'd agree.
your siblings, because just the people you get to rub shoulders with and experience and see how they think and see what they're up to, it's way better than any tax savings.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's really a huge benefit. But speaking of taxes, and now speaking to young people, okay, if you look around our neighborhood, Walker in Puerto Rico, there's one thing that you see in common with almost every single person there. Without prompting you, what do you see as one commonality amongst all the people there in our
Well,
neighborhood?
they all own their own business.
Yeah, all of them.
Almost well, actually, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anybody who doesn't
And so
there.
you're thinking, okay, is that coincidence or why do they do that? Because owning your own business is responsibility and it's not easy all the time.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Well, the IRS allows you to, or is structured in such a way that it taxes different kinds of income at different rates. So
Okay.
if you have earned income as like a W-2 employee in your salary, that's earned income.
Hmm.
That's the highest, that's taxed at the highest rate, and there's almost no way out of it.
Yeah.
So this would be like high paid doctor, high paid lawyer, high paid coding guy, coding genius at Facebook. Like these are just high paid, making 400 grand a year,
Yeah.
and you're taxed like crazy and you can't do anything about it really.
That's a tough spot to find yourself.
Well, it's surprising too because these guys they're working.
Yeah,
And there's other types of income that's
that's
categorized
true.
as capital gains, like we talked about,
Hmm.
buying and selling things with their money. There's also passive income,
Yeah.
and there's also like business income that comes money you get from owning a business, like distributions as a shareholder. So one thing as a young person, you might think, okay, I'm making choices in my life. I could go get a job and probably should. You can learn a lot of things. I think that'd be a great idea. Get
Yeah.
some get some experience and
Yeah.
see what that's all about. And you can learn so much faster by watching people than by trying to figure it out yourself. But you probably don't want to stay there.